So it's been announced that our man Kemba Walker is going to be waived. Shout out The Athletic for this information, and let's get right into it. So, Charania and James L. Edwards III, the Detroit Pistons are likely to waive point guard Kemba Walker before Monday's deadline, which is the deadline to set regular season rosters, sources told The Athletic. The move will bring Detroit's roster to 15 guaranteed spots. Obviously, you guys know Kemba Walker is 32 years old, a four-time All-Star, who was acquired by the Pistons on a draft day trade which allowed them to get the 13th pick, which brought in Jalen Duren. The plan for the Pistons leading up to the preseason was to buy out Kemba Walker and let him become a free agent. Kemba Walker played 37 games last year for the New York Knicks in the 2021 to 2022 season, averaging 11.6 points and 3.5 assists per game. The rosters are set at the start of the season by 5 p.m. Eastern Time, October 17th for the 2022 to 23 season. Detroit went 0-4 in its preseason games and are set to open the regular season at home versus the Orlando Magic on Wednesday. So I think right here, when you're looking at this, it's definitely going to be interesting as all hell. I mean, hey, there's multiple teams that could take him on. I just saw someone say the Toronto Raptors. I was like, yeah. I think Portland, they need a backup point guard. They don't have a backup point guard. Yes, they have Anthony Simons and Damian Lillard, but and Gary Payton II, who's actually going to miss the start of the regular season. So if I'm Portland, I'm calling Kemba. Okay, if I don't know if obviously everyone's going to say LA. There's either the Clippers, the Lakers there. There's the Golden State Warriors. They need a backup point guard, but I think they really like Pat Spencer. They LaMelo's out for some time, so Dennis Smith Jr. and Kemba Walker could do that. And there's a plethora of teams, even the Washington Wizards, the Brooklyn Nets. There's so many teams out there that need a guy, and Kemba could be that person who fills that role for them. And I think it's definitely something that's interesting, and people aren't considering due to the fact that it's Kemba Walker. And yes, he had a bad year. I'll admit it. It was not pretty. And part of the reason why Kemba wasn't bought out earlier was allegedly the offers that the Detroit Pistons were giving him were bad, so they're just going to waive him, eat the whole salary. And part of the reason why he wasn't accepting any buyouts was allegedly he had no offers that were good enough. And now that he's getting waived, if he does clear waivers, he gets the full money from the Pistons and he can double dip. So I think it's definitely something to watch, and it's going to be interesting as all hell to see how they Kemba navigates through this. I think he needs to go to a contending team where he's playing 15, 20 minutes a night to really rebuild that value of his. And don't get me wrong, I love Kemba and I think he's a great player. It's just that people don't realize that this isn't a situation as it was a few, like Kemba like wasn't that great last year. Let's be honest. And it wasn't an ideal situation for him. So hopefully he can bounce back from that, look good, and play the basketball that we know that he can play. And for me, I think it's definitely a interesting situation for them, and I hope that they figure it out. Okay. For me, I think the interesting thing is that can he show that he can play some defense, and if he can't play defense, can he be like a microwave like a Jordan Clarkson, Lou Will? I think it all comes down. It's interesting as all hell. There you go. Good, man. That's why I think going to LA, either for the Clippers or the Lakers. The Lakers have Schroeder, Russell Westbrook, Pat Bev. Be throwing Kemba there, that could really work out nicely for them. As well as in Los Angeles with the Clippers, they have Reggie Jackson, they have John Wall, throwing Kemba there. I mean, I wanted to go somewhere where he can kind of be part of a guard committee instead of being like the sole backup. And yeah, that's why I think like Toronto's another one. Fred VanVleet, they don't really have, Malachi Flynn and Delano Banton are there, but they really don't have a guy that you could say necessarily is, the backup point guard like 100%. So I think that's definitely a position where they could benefit from bringing someone in. And I think he's a guy that people are definitely overlooking to go to Toronto. And I think there he can definitely rebuild his value way better than in the other, places that he could go play at. So I think this is definitely something to consider because I just think Kemba needs to go in a situation where he's, splitting the backup point guard role. Like I could even see him and I know they have Ish Smith, but if they don't like Ish Smith, Bones Highland and Kemba could go there. But I think Ish Smith's the better defender, and that's why they want to keep him there. And Kemba's never really been good at defense, so that does bring up a whole other thing. But definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts. What would you guys do if you were Kemba Walker and why? But that's basically all we have. So let me hear your opinions down below.